General Hospital spoilers reveal that Curtis, after being ousted from the CEO position at Aurora by Drew, feels deeply humiliated. The position he worked so hard to achieve is now in the hands of someone he once considered a friend, leaving Curtis engulfed in anger and a sense of betrayal. In his frustration, Curtis turns to Michael, who is already in a fierce conflict with Drew. Michael quickly sees an opportunity to exploit Curtis's anger and proposes a deal. If Curtis helps Michael overthrow Drew, he will be reinstated as the CEO of Aurora. Believing this promise, Curtis agrees, unaware that he is stepping into a web of dangerous schemes. Michael swiftly puts into motion a bold plan to take down Drew. He uses falsified financial reports to manipulate Aurora's stock prices, destabilizing the company's value. Meanwhile, Michael secretly buys up shares at a low price, then makes insider trades to push the stock price back up, reaping massive profits for himself. At first, Curtis believes he is just a minor player in Michael's plan, but with his sharp instincts, he begins to notice the flaws and true motives behind it. As their collaboration progresses, Curtis discovers that Michael's grudge with Drew is not just business-related. Michael harbors deep personal resentment toward Drew after learning that Drew had been secretly seeing Willow, Michael's wife. This affair not only led to the breakdown of Michael's marriage but also pushed him and Willow to the brink of divorce. Curtis is taken aback, realizing that he is caught in a battle that is not just about money and power, but also about honor and personal feelings. Curtis grows increasingly uneasy as he realizes that Michael is willing to use illegal methods to achieve his goals. He also understands that continuing to be part of this plan could make him an accomplice, putting him at risk of legal investigations. This makes Curtis more cautious of Michael, but at the same time, he sees an opportunity to turn the situation to his own advantage to regain power for himself. While Michael continues to make moves, Curtis secretly gathers information on Michael's trades and plans. He realizes that, in addition to removing Drew, Michael also wants to turn Aurora into a tool to solidify his position in both his family and the business world. However, Michael's blinded hatred and ambition have caused him to overlook key details, giving Curtis the chance to spot weaknesses in his plan. Curtis understands that to survive in this battle, he must be prepared for any eventuality, even if it means betraying Michael if necessary. Curtis begins to contemplate whether he should continue with Michael's plan or find another way out. He feels as though he's been swept into a game he can no longer control, where every decision could lead to unforeseeable consequences. Curtis knows that he needs to make a decision soon, before things spiral out of control. Realizing the complexity and danger in Michael's plan, Curtis can no longer stay silent. He turns to Portia, the only person he trusts enough to share the entire truth. Curtis tells Portia about Michael's insider trading, the forged financial reports, and the personal grudge between Michael and Drew. Portia, with her sharp mind, quickly analyzes the situation. She understands that Michael is someone who cannot be trusted, and Curtis needs to break free from his control. Portia suggests a bold plan. She advises Curtis not to continue as Michael's pawn but to use the evidence he has gathered to create leverage. According to her, Curtis could threaten Michael with exposure, forcing him to relinquish part of Aurora's shares. This would not only restore Curtis's power but also protect him from being implicated if Michael's illegal actions are uncovered. Portia also warns Curtis that Michael, with his vengeful nature, will not accept failure easily, and Curtis needs to be prepared for the consequences that follow. After several sleepless nights, Curtis decides to follow Portia's advice. He confronts Michael directly, presenting the incriminating evidence he has collected. Curtis does not mince words and clearly demands, if Michael wants to keep everything quiet, he must give up some of Aurora's shares. Michael, cornered, has no choice but to comply with Curtis's demands. However, within him, anger and a sense of betrayal begin to flare. He realizes Curtis is not only an untrustworthy ally but also a serious threat to his career and freedom. Having won the upper hand, Curtis cannot deny his satisfaction. He begins to seize the opportunity to solidify his position in the business world. Step by step, Curtis builds his image as a shrewd businessman, willing to use any means necessary to achieve his goals. His betrayal of Michael becomes a turning point, reshaping not only their relationship but also exposing the deeper ambitions within Curtis. However, Curtis knows that he is walking a dangerous path. He understands that Michael will not easily forgive this betrayal. While Michael struggles with legal issues and personal turmoil, he quietly plots his revenge against Curtis. The tension between the two intensifies, leading to more complicated schemes and unpredictable consequences. Curtis remains vigilant, knowing a larger confrontation awaits. But at the same time, he senses that he himself is changing, becoming colder and more ruthless than ever before. Curtis realizes that in this game of power, there is no room for weakness or compassion, and he must be prepared for any situation to protect what he has gained. With Portia's support, Curtis continues to strengthen his position at Aurora, but he cannot deny that his betrayal has set in motion a dangerous spiral. Michael, while facing the threat of prison and family problems, is still quietly planning his revenge. Both men are now not only rivals in business but also sworn enemies, escalating this power struggle to a new level. Curtis, having gained the advantage over Michael through Portia's plan, wastes no time. He begins to build his network within Aurora, quietly establishing relationships with key people on the board and major shareholders. Portia, always there to support him, offers strategic advice, helping Curtis solidify his power step by step. With his cunning and calculation, Curtis gradually turns Aurora into his own domain, a fortress that he believes will protect him from any threats, including Michael. However, Curtis cannot ignore the growing sense of unease. He knows that his betrayal has created a dangerous enemy. Michael is not one to easily accept defeat, and Curtis understands this well. Even as Michael faces the risk of prison for insider trading and the family issues surrounding him, he still quietly plans his revenge. Michael's grudge is not only about losing his shares at Aurora but also about his wounded pride and the sense of being stabbed in the back by Curtis. In the shadows, Michael begins to rally his loyal followers. He uses every remaining resource to investigate Curtis, trying to find weaknesses that he can exploit. Michael not only wants to reclaim what he has lost but also wants to destroy Curtis, making sure he cannot stand in the business world. These actions slowly pull both men into a more dangerous spiral, as each one is determined not to let the other gain the upper hand. Curtis, though holding the power, cannot fully relax. He remains alert to every move Michael makes, knowing that this war is not just about boardroom meetings. Portia, recognizing the danger posed by Michael, urges Curtis to take stronger precautions. But Curtis, with his pride, refuses to go too far. He believes he can handle Michael without sinking into dirtier games. However, Michael becomes increasingly reckless. He uses sensitive information, even going so far as to approach people close to Curtis, including Portia, to sow seeds of doubt and instability. Curtis begins to feel the mounting pressure, as every move he makes is being closely watched by Michael. His days at Aurora are no longer filled with sweet victories but have become an ongoing battle of tension. The confrontation between Curtis and Michael quickly extends beyond the business world. The two are not only competitors within the company but have become bitter enemies. Curtis, once someone who believed in loyalty and honor, now faces the reality that in this war, there is no room for weakness. He realizes that in order to protect what he has gained, he must be prepared to face anything, even if it means sacrificing important relationships in his life. On the other hand, Michael has sunk deeper into hatred. He no longer sees Curtis as a business opponent but as a symbol of betrayal he cannot forgive. With every step Curtis takes, Michael becomes more determined to bring him down. The two are now caught in a no-holds-barred battle, taking everything to a whole new level where not only money and power are at stake, but also honor, the future, and trust. Michael is certainly not someone who easily accepts defeat, especially when his pride and power are threatened. After being stabbed in the back by Curtis and forced to give up shares at Aurora, Michael is not only angry but feels humiliated. In his heart, he swears he will not let Curtis stay on top for long. However, Michael knows Curtis is no easy target, and in order to take him down, he needs a well-thought-out plan, using all the connections he has built at Port Charles. Michael begins to reach out to powerful allies, including Carly, who has always supported him no matter the circumstances. Carly, with her vast experience in power relations and strategic thinking, quickly grasps the situation. Not only does she sympathize with Michael's disappointment, but she also agrees to support him fully. Carly suggests using her relationship with Sonny, who has considerable influence in Port Charles, to subtly pressure Curtis. With Carly, Sonny, and even Cyrus supporting him, Michael begins to tighten the noose around Curtis. He not only wants to reclaim his shares at Aurora but also wants to ensure that Curtis never gets another chance to betray him. In Michael's mind, this battle is not just about power but also a lesson for Curtis on the price of betraying him. The tension between Michael and Curtis continues to escalate, causing deep rifts in relationships within Port Charles. This battle is not just a confrontation between two men but also affects those around them, creating a new cycle of conspiracy and betrayal, where no one can predict the consequences.